How's it going, everybody? K1 GMM. I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on regarding diversity antenna. I know there's nobody watching because it shows 0 viewers, but I figured I'd just push a stream so I don't have to upload it later. Anyways, I suffered a death blow a few days ago. Had some noise. I don't know what the heck it was. It was utter carnage on 75, 80 meters and 20 meters. Terrible. And as you know, I've been working on a receive antenna. I scrapped that and I decided to focus on the diversity aspect of things because of that. Otherwise, I'd literally pack up the entire station and sell it, maybe do some portable work. That's how bad it was. It was really bad. It was coming from behind me, and behind me is nothing for miles. It's all wilderness. It's Green Mountain National Forest behind me, and it's State Forest behind me, and Green Mountain National Forest is across the street. So there really isn't a whole lot. I knew when I flipped the antenna it was coming from behind me. So what I did was I got a hair in my ass yesterday, actually a couple days ago, and I started putting this together. I wanted to do something that pretty much anyone could do as far as diversity, not spend a lot of money. You know how I roll. So I scavenged an old antenna, Stereo Turbo 5000, which is like the next step up from a Wilson 5000. It's 11 meter whip. Used to use it on the car with base loading coils. And, oh, hey, Brent, you didn't get a notification? Well, I just posted the notification not even 10 minutes ago. So that's probably why. I don't know. So anyways, what I did was I grabbed the old Stereo 5000. It's an 11 meter whip. And it's electrically, I believe, don't hold me to this, but it's a 5/8 wave electrical 5/8 wave whip, even though the whip is only 6.5 feet tall, the actual whip part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video, hey Ed, and show you a video of how I put this thing together. It works really good on diversity. And depending on, I did some testing about 2 hours ago on 20, and it seems to hear about 3 dB down compared to the 2-element loops, which are Goliath, to put it mildly, as far as the way they hear and also the way they transmit. But they're big, right? So this thing's only 6.5 feet tall. And what I did was I built a series of loading coils, 20, 40, and 80 meters. The only one that's a Z winding coil is the 80 meter. And it's fairly compact, as you'll see. I'll show it to you. And just built on a 2-inch PVC with a couple end caps. I'll show you how I put it together. It is going to be modified at some point because I need to literally unthread the loading coil from the coupler, the coupling nut. I made a coupling nut using 3 nuts and put a bolt through it, snugged them all up, and then tack welded them together and then spun all the nuts off together and made basically a coupling nut. So you'll see that as well, how I can spin the loading coil on and off. And then I put the other loaded, like let's say I want to go from 20 to 40 meters, I can just spin it off. Coupling nut stays on there. It's in a PVC end cap and 1.5-inch PVC sticking up out of the ground. And just spin the other coil, the 40 meter coil on, spin the antenna onto it, and done. Good for 40. What I need to do is I need to move the arm. There's a T in that PVC, I'll show you. And I need to move that up to the top. Then what I'd like to do is mount all the coils on a bracket side by side. That way I can just take an alligator clip and I can jump them. Jump from one coil to the other. So that's going to come here. But I need to figure out a way. I don't know if I should, the easiest way to do it would probably just be to use L brackets and mount L brackets and then bring the L bracket up to the side of the coil. I really don't want any metal around it. I don't mind it underneath it, but right next to it, I don't know. So anyways, that's a project for another day. It's kind of a pain in the ass having to spin the coils out, but yeah. So let me get right over to the video. I'm going to load up the video. I'm going to play it. And then once we get done with that, then I'll get back to the demonstration. But again, this is 6.5 foot Serio Turbo 5000. You could do it with any, like you could take a Shakespeare Wonder Pole and a piece of wire and run it up the Wonder Pole. Put something underneath it to kind of balance the equation. As you can see, there's no math to what I did as far as what's underneath it. It's pseudo folded counterpoise, which are actually very compact and they do work really well. I used to run one on 160 meter inverted L and it kicked ass. It worked really good. Go to Steve Ellington. Find Steve Ellington's YouTube page. He shows you exactly how to make one. And you can make them for any band. You just got to scale it down or up. That was for 160 and 80 meter folded counterpoise. Would be half that size. So probably be about 30 something feet long. 16 feet long. See where I'm going? Something like that. I don't know. You'd have to extrapolate the numbers. Basically divide it by 2 or 3 or 4, depending on what band you're going to from 160. Losing my train of thought. So let's get over the video and then we will make some tracks. Let's see. This. And here we go.
Hey folks. Okay, this is the rundown. Put together a diversity antenna with some spare parts and pieces. And just wanted to show you what's going on. So this is a base-loaded Serio Turbo 5000 I used to use on the vehicle. And right there underneath it is a 20 meter coil, loading coil. Now what I have is a folded counterpoise which runs out, runs over here and then around this small garden and then doubles back. There was no math to the folded counterpoise. I just wanted to make sure it had something. I'm not using it for transmit. This is for diversity receive only. So I've got a choke spun up here for the lower portions of the bands. Not too good on 20 and up. It's a 31 mix. I believe there's 13 turns on there of RG. It's tiny stuff, 316 or whatever. I found that these chokes are hugely effective at reducing common mode. I have one there, the base of the antenna, and I also have one in the shack where it comes into the SDR switch for diversity for the second receiver. Here are the additional loading coils. This is a 80 meter Z-winding coil. As you can see, there's 2 layers, and I don't have the exact numbers of turns, but I'm going to post a link to the site where I got this off of. Now these coils, I believe, are for a 5/8 wave. Set up for a 102 inch whip with an additional piece of copper tubing underneath it, which I believe comes out to a 5/8 wave. Don't hold me to that. The Serio Turbo 5000 is 11 meter whip, 6.5 feet tall. And that coil, there's a loading coil in the base of it, so it's electrically, I believe, 5/8 wave. So don't hold me to that. All I know is these coils, I've used these coils on the vehicles when I've been HF Mobile, and they work dynamite with that whip. I'm going to get into other options you can employ in the stream. So I just wanted to show you what's going on there. These basically thread. This is 1.5 inch PVC and it's sunk in the ground in concrete. And I just took an SO239, a piece of cutting board. I'm going to seal all this up. I just put it up today. And then brought a jumper out of the back of the 239, and that jacks into the coil and connects the antenna, the vertical section. Now I'm not going to get into that right now, but just some quick banana type quick connectors. That's all I used. What I'm planning on doing is most likely I'm going to move this up there, and then I'm going to take all the coils and I'm going to put them on a plate and line them up together, And that way all I have to do is just come out and move the jumper from one coil to the other. So that's I'd like to find like a triple pole single throw relay to activate from the shack to jump the 20, 40, and 80 meter coils in. Don't know if they make something like that. Never seen one before. This is a coupling nut I made out of 3 nuts using a welder. I just put the bolt through the cap, and the bolt comes through the cap. And the bottom nut, the silver nut there, is the one that holds it onto the cap so it doesn't spin with lock washers. Then I took 3 nuts, spun them onto that bolt, stuck them in a bench vise, and tack welded them together, and then spun the nut out. And I made a coupling nut. So these just thread off. So you can take it and just thread it off and put the other coil on and stick it on there. Kind of a pain in the ass, but boy, it works good, and I'll show you inside. All right, that's it. We'll be back.
All right. I have audio? Yes, I do. Okay. Hey, Alex. Yeah, she's not done yet, but we're making tracks, and my camera finally heated up, and I think it's gone out of focus, which is probably a good thing. Yeah, it's sharp. Sharp enough. I think you could probably see my nose hairs. Anyways, needed to clarify something. I did not weld those nuts with a stud in the cap for obvious reasons. It would have melted the cap. Yeah, Sprint. The counterpoise. So the SO239 is on that little piece of cutting board, and I have it screwed to the thing, the vertical PVC. And one lead comes out to the hot, obviously, to the coil. The other lead comes off the shield side and then goes directly to the folded counterpoise. So that's how that works. Cobbed together. I am going to measure it at some point because the folded counterpoise, don't pay any attention to the spacing on the folded counterpoise. It's not even close to being right. Because how those are designed to work, they're designed to work on inductance. So they have to be spaced a certain length from center and go across. So you got the antenna here and they go out this way. And it comes out from the center and then goes back, comes out to the end from the center, from the shield, the coax, comes down with a specific spacing and then back across and all the way across the other end. And then back across all the way through the center, all the way back to the other end, and then back again to the center and terminates at the center. So there's like 2 and 3, a stack of 3 and a stack of 2. This is for 160 meter folded counterpoise. So if you were to play with that, let's say you didn't care, you had noise or you wanted something, even if you were going to use it for transmit, you could go to, I think it was, 30 feet each individual leg on the folded counterpoise for 60 meters. It was like 60 maybe and change all the way across. So for 80 meters, it would be half that size. For 40 meters, it would be half that size. And for 20 meters, it would be half that size. Now for receive, I don't really care. The only thing I'm concerned about for diversity is I want to hear some of the signal I'm trying to listen to, but I definitely want to get the noise. Now here's the catch. This is what I found for me. I know some guys on diversity, they'll run like 2 G5 RVs spaced way out apart. And for them, that may work. For me, I need to have a vertical antenna and a horizontal antenna. Maybe it's something to do with the type of noise I have. I don't know. And I have the noise on both antennas. But I want to get mostly the noise on diversity antenna. And it doesn't have to be that strong. So we'll compare it. I'll get Thetis running and we'll look at, I'm on 20 meters. I have the 20 meter coil on it. And I do have noise, as you'll see on 20 meters. There's like pumps of crap. And I also had a heterodyne. I don't know what it was. I wiped it completely out within the passband of a signal I was trying to listen to without affecting the audio at all. It took it completely out. I was like, holy crap, it's amazing. And it was strong. You could hear it. It was like just going nonstop in there. And I was able to eliminate it without wiping the signal out, the station I was trying to listen to. So let me get over to the other screen. Thetis. And actually, so it doesn't come blasting on. Shut the AGC down. We'll start Thetis. And diversity up. The diversity is off right now. Flip the antenna. Yeah, see the humps on the screen? That's crap. That's trash. And that's coming from the northeast. It's very noisy from the northeast. So let's see if there's anybody stateside. Boy, Ben just freaking took a dump. This is so. Grab my. Hey, John. Jeez, how you doing, John? To see you in here. Yeah. Okay, so that's stateside. I wish. Oh, there's somebody right there. So let's. I got to disengage the gate on.
North Carolina coast, Rhode Island, on you, sir. Good copy. Have fun.
Okay, just took out the noise gate. So it's not going to be chopping in and out. And I'll do it with manually with MIDI controller here. So we got a few signals. Boy, the bands are garbage. This is why I'm doing this, is because, hey, the bands are crap. And I figured, why not try and improve the signal noise ratio of the station and see if I can get this figured out. By the way, the noise did disappear. This is nothing compared to what I had before. It was total carnage. Horrible. Like S9 plus at times. Oh, you're going with a log. Cool. Cool beans, man. All right. Good heavens. Freaking bands are such crap. Let me just bump it, make sure nothing's shorted out. Test. No. Sorry. Check the tune. Something ain't right here. Definitely not right. No. Guess what? Okay, something's not right. I got a shorted relay. I have a shorted relay. I'm going to bump it again. Sometimes it clears it up. I'm going to have to drop the antenna and clean. It's about that time. I got to clean it every, 3-4 months. See if I bump it again, if it comes back. Test. Crazy. Or am I on the wrong antenna? I could be on 40 meters. No, I'm not. I'm on the right antenna. Okay, well, we're going to have to go towards Europe because I think that's working. Let me check the tune. Yes, that is correct. That's what's supposed to. Okay, so I got to drop it. Figures just in time to do a stream. Haven't done a stream in how long? This is what drives me crazy, you guys. This freaking crap. Absolute crap. All of a sudden, something will go to hell. All right. So, anyways, it is what it is. I'll deal with that this afternoon. Okay, let's check this signal out right here. Looks like it's on 240. Okay, I'm going to turn on diversity. So if we take this, we can kind of spin it around. So you can see what happens. Now, generally, what you want to do when you're working with this is you don't want to lose the signal all the way. Because you can really crush it. Like if I bring this in here, I can bring this like right down, literally crush. See how his audio started to go out a little bit? And what this does is it changes the gain. This right here is the gain. Okay? And then this, where you go around, is the phase. So it changes the phase changes the phase of the RX2 antenna compared to the RX1, thereby canceling the noise out. Check out that.
7-3, good luck.
So we can kick diversity out. That's diversity off. That's diversity on. I wish there was a heterodyne in here. I'm looking for one, and I don't know if this is. And oftentimes you'll see it wave, depending on the type of noise it is. If it's kind of moving around, and you may have to go in and touch it up. Boy, there were signals in here earlier, man, and it's just totally puked. I don't know. That is horrid. Oh, so this is something I noticed this morning. So if you look on the Anon right here, the AGC, and then you have your attenuator. I normally run my attenuator at minus 20. I found that running it at 0 dB is way better. It tends not to work. Now, on the diversity set panel here on the Anon, you have the option of using the reference source. So your receiver source, you want RX1 and RX2. Okay, that's my RX1 is my transmit and receive antenna primary. RX2 is that whip out back. So your reference antenna, sometimes it works better using receiver 1 as a reference antenna. It is still using the RX2, the whip antenna, but it just depends on what's going on. It's kind of odd. Now, the RSP Duo by SDR Play, I have one of those, and that thing is just awesome. You can piggyback that onto an HF rig. If you're plagued with horrific amount of noise, that will make life livable. And it is remarkable how effective that is. I think they're around $270, something like that. Worth every penny you don't need to buy an Anon. To my knowledge, there aren't many rigs that will do this, that have true diversity receive capability. There's a lot of confusion. I was looking at YouTube, and people were referring to dual receive systems as diversity. That is, yeah, I suppose, if you have two different types of antennas, cross-polarized, maybe that could be considered diversity. That is not diversity in my book. This is diversity. Anything that doesn't allow you to change the gain and the phase of the second antenna, or the first antenna, depending on which reference source you're using, doesn't give you the control that this does. This is all about finding that noise and then just knocking it out. Let me kind of slide this out of the way. Take another look. Back the AGC. I wish there were. Well, it's actually good that the signals aren't good, right? So if I kick this out, sorry about that. I don't know why Thetis does that. See, now let's say you want to work weak signals, right? And you got all this crap in here. So let's click on this guy. Now let's bring in diversity.
If you get on anything, says just don't worry about it. But when, as Jack W1FDY, he uses the net there from Virginia and
As I move it, you can see the signal to noise ratio change. Okay, so he dropped the key. I mean, he's basically on the 7300. He'd be an S0. He wouldn't even be bumping the S meter. So let me I'll shut diversity off. That's pretty extreme situation. I mean, that station, that's borderline. I mean, he's barely tickling the pan adapter. That's pretty insane.
The weekend and that in the UK is going to be extremely hot.
Yeah, the QSB is pretty savage.
It's 106 degrees. It's one of the hottest places in the world.
Here, I changed the gain and the phasing on it. All of a sudden, he'll just disappear. Now, this is two different antennas. One's flat top, one's vertical. So there is an advantage to having a vertical component.
I've got you at about a 5.5. Oh, Roger, thank you very much. Roger at 33.
It just got a sequence error. Now he's stateside. He's coming into the back of the beam, but oh, it's working now. I just flipped the antenna and it's working. There must be a bug. Okay, so there's a bug in the relay. Okay, so you see this little hump right here? This is coming from the west, right here on the pan adapter.
Roger, thank you for the 5.8 into...
That's insignificant, right? That's nothing, really. I mean, you can't even hear it. So you can kick in diversity, and you can take this. Oh. Sometimes it's really touchy, and you can just wipe it right out. See how sometimes you go around and it gets stronger? Fading. So that's pretty much gone right there. That's history.
Kilo 9 India Charlie Papa QSL.
Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Roger, I also got you to 5-9 into Park Kilo 0929, QSL. Thank
Yeah, I
you
don't
for the
think.
hunt, 73 QRZ.
Hey, diversity, I'm
Zero.
gonna kick it out.
Roger, I got a Whiskey Zero Charlie Golf. Charlie, about a 5-5 into Park Kilo 0929.
Back in. What you want to pay attention to is not so much signal
Roger,
strength,
thank you for the hunt, 73.
is the signal to noise ratio. That's what you want to. That's what you want to look for when you're playing with this stuff. Here's a heterodyne. Okay, here's a little heterodyne here. I had a real strong one earlier. Let's see if we can wipe that out. Oh, there she goes. Gone. Pretty cool, huh? So you could have like, and you notice that the signals are still coming through. So you could have, mute this. So I'm glad I found that. So let's say you're plagued with an AM broadcast station and you got a heterodyne and there's mixing going on. There's on harmonics on a whole different band, right? You got an AM broadcast that's just pounding you and it's always there, especially at certain times of the day. No problem. This will wipe that right out and you can carry on a QSO with no degradation of RX audio with your buddies. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. So I just wanted to show you guys that. We're getting ready to do lunch. A little racket going on the non. So in OBS here. So all right. There you go. Back over to. So what I'm going to do is when I close the stream, I will go get that. I got to find it. It's on Google somewhere. And I have to type in something very specific to find it. About putting these coils are so easy. Grab yourself a spool of wire. If you wanted to, a lot of guys, I'm actually thinking about building a base loaded vertical. Not even this winter I'm putting up, not sure which I'm going to do, a vertical quarter wave on 80. I can get, it's about a 65-foot vertical. It's going to be wire. I ran one last year and it worked surprisingly good. Way better than the loop I have out front for DX, but it was worthless for anything local. And I only had 12 1/8 wave radials underneath it and they were on the ground. So what I'm planning on doing is doing like 8 1/8 wave radials, but suspend it between two trees at about 100 feet. So it would be an elevated quarter wave vertical and pull the radials off that way. Or I'm also thinking about going to, you can base load it. You could center load it, I suppose, which is a little bit harder to do with an antenna that high, that big, tall. I'd probably just base load it so I could take like a 40 meter, which would be what? Quarter wave on 40 meters would be what? 30 something feet? 33 feet, something like that. Right? Yeah. Yeah, because that'd be a half wave on 20. So, like 33 feet and base load the thing, and it would probably work. The thing I'm really curious about, which I'm going to start this fall, I revisited a video I put up on my channel. That's one of the big reasons I put this stuff up there is for my own personal reference. So because I can't remember anything, I can go back in and watch the video and figure out what the frick I did. So I can go back to something. Tell you, it's handy. It's really handy. Putting up the 80 meter, 75 meter Moxon again, tuned for the DX window. Talking to a friend of mine, Harry Paul. You guys know Harry Paul. He's in here once in a while. We were talking about that. And see, I need an NVIS antenna as well for 75 to 80 meters. Because I work locals, a lot of local stuff, but I want a good antenna for DX, and that was a crackerjack. That was the best antenna I ever had up. There's a video on my channel. Go look at the signals on that freaking thing. It wasn't high. It was maybe 50 feet off the ground. Holy crap, that thing was awesome. It was pointed northeast towards Europe. The problem is it's got a vicious back door. So what I was thinking was, why don't I hang it, point it over at Europe, and put pulleys on the two back corners in the trees, and all I got to do is release it and lay it down so it would be firing close to straight up, and it would give me a 7.5 dBi gain cloud burner, which would part the freaking clouds like a freaking torch. Right? Doesn't that make sense? So if I wanted to work, it's a pain in the butt because I'd have to go out there and do that. Just release them, but I don't care. I need the exercise. So, I probably wouldn't even have to drop it all the way down. So it would go from like this, pointed at Europe, to like that. And I'll tell you, if you want to have some fun on 80 meters, put up a cloud burner. Because last winter I had, last winter? I had a full wave loop with a reflector underneath it. Remember that, you guys? About 42 feet beneath it. And that I had more fun on that antenna than any antenna I've ever built or put up here. That thing was a freaking weapon for anything from 50 to 500 miles. After that, it was crap. But wow. Had like 80, I think the radiation angle was like 87 degrees, and it was enormous gain on that thing. And it just threw a freaking signal. I never got like 30 over reports on 100 watts. On 80 meters, ever, at 300 miles. That thing, hell yeah. Basically would take the amp completely out of the equation. So that's why I'm thinking maybe go to the Moxon. So I kind of got sidetracked there, but I wanted to give you guys an update. Stuff coming. So anyways, we'll see you later. Yes, John, DX window. Yeah, center top loading's the best, really, from what I understand. Center load, but that ain't gonna happen. The vertical was good, noisy bastard. But that being said, I could hear VK on 80 meters. Don't know what path. I'm assuming it was. I don't know whether it was short path or long path. It was in the evening. I was listening, and I remember. I could hear them on that and not on the loop. And that's the pattern right there. Could have something to do with polarization, but don't know. Anyways. Held it. All right. I got to go up and do lunch. We'll catch you guys later. Have a great day. Who knows? Kind of wait and see this afternoon. May jump on 20, but I got a lot of work to do outside. Not much radio. I haven't played any radio because the bands are just I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is 20 meters, right? This is 20 meters. During the day. What are the numbers? Log is open. K3, so that's unsettled. That's a little pissed off. SFI's crap, 115. Sunspot's 58. I've seen the same thing when the SFI was pushing 180 there. Remember? A few weeks ago or whatever it was, the bands were closed. So I don't know what's going on. I have a theory about this, though. I'm going to throw this theory out really quick, and then I'm out of here. So here's my theory, right? Don't know if it's worth the crap, but when you have an SFI, I got in the hobby in 2015. I slaughtered it on 10 meters. The SFI was about 140, okay? With no amplifier. I was running about 70 watts, 80 watts tops on 10 meters. Absolutely murdered it on a 4-element hybrid Moxon. Killed it. Couldn't do anything wrong. Now, the SFI was about 140, which is technically port of moderate conditions. We've seen the SFI already at 180 with a huge sunspot number, and yet the bands are closed. Here's my theory. If you look at the SWPC website, right, and you look at the amount of flaring that was going on at that time, yeah, the SFI was cracking. It was good. That's actually really good. 180 is killer. I mean, the band should be like wall to wall, like 20 over. If people are running freaking legal limit, holy crap, we should see 50 over signals in there with an SFI at 180, and yet they're closed. So what I think, and I don't know anything, this is what I think. Depending on what part of the earth, okay, let me preface this. Who has noticed that the 20 meters especially gets better in the late afternoons here on the eastern seaboard? I'm referring to the folks on the eastern seaboard. 20 meters gets rolling in here late. It's closed like this. It's crap. So if I go back, yeah, this is Europe. So I'll show you Europe. That's Europe. Nothing. Absolute crap, right? So, but in the late afternoons, going into evening, and also deep into the night, Glenn, K4GHC, I think it's his call sign, yeah, down in Alabama, he absolutely killed it. He can work anywhere, Indonesia, VK, ZL, all over the place. Marshall Islands, is that a place? Something like that? No problem on 20 meters at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So my theory is that with all this X-ray flaring going on and the activity of the sun, yes, the SFI may be at 180, but if we're facing the sun, which we are right now during the day, and that crap is going on, any kind of bump in a flare or anything like that, you can go look at it on the SWPC Space Weather Prediction Center. It'll show you what's happening. I swear to God, that's shutting it down. And then once the Earth turns, the sun goes down, even though we're in nighttime, we're not affected by that as much. So maybe the F2, maybe those layers are stabilizing a little bit and they're not so pissed off. I don't know. Theory. All I can tell you is something is going on. And this is really freaking, I would go back to the bottom of the cycle compared to what we got now. That's how crap this is. And it's not like I don't have the antennas for it. Good Lord. Yeah. Absolutely insane. We'll see you guys later. Yeah, see, 4:30 a.m. on 20 meters. Yeah. That's what's been going on. You know, I've thought of that. Let me just address the stream, and then I do have to close down. Who said that? Gets going late and moves west late into the evening. My guess is the atmosphere is taking... See, it shouldn't take longer to charge up, John. When you have an SFI at 180, those particles in the F2 layer should be freaking mental. Absolutely mental. It should be like the perfect mirror, right? With an SFI of 180. But it's total crap. That's what Glenn has been seeing. And that's probably, so my theory is probably right, John. So if that's true, it creates high level of D-layer absorption, then that's just going a little bit further in the explanation. So maybe that's actually what's going on. And somebody made a comment, MM6KHA, was that you that made the comment? You retracted it about the government. I'm telling you. Yes, if you guys don't know that, I look at that every single day, SWPC. I don't know why hams don't look at that. I don't understand it. It's such a valuable tool. Just for a quick glance, you don't have to go into all the write-ups and stuff like that. They don't know what they're doing anyways, probably. But just at a quick glance, you can look at the R1, R2, R3 radio blackouts. G3 levels, X-ray flares, solar flux, geomagnetic field. I mean, there's all kinds of crap you can look at in there. So it's worth taking a poke at that. If you see the band's total crap, take a look there. That'll tell you pretty quick. Anyways, yeah, whoever it was, MM6KHA, I think he retracted it, but it does make me wonder if the government's doing something. I swear to God, I wouldn't put it past them. Jamming. I mean, we saw what Cuba did, right? Don't know. That is total speculation. So I'm going to stick to what I know, which ain't much. See you guys later, 7-3.